Well, hey guys, welcome to another video by Fitness Technology Services. So in this video I'm going to go kind of out of my normal range. I'm going to basically kind of go through the history of Icon motor controllers, or at least as many as I could find around the shop. And I'm going to kind of work from roughly 2000 to 2021. We're going to stick right here with the older SER type controllers. That's really all I'm going to really do on that. I'm going to carry some of these in more detail on my Fitness Parts Pro Facebook, trying to get people to go to that. So first off, we're going to start out with the original one that I used to work with, and this was in 2004, I do believe, and this is an MC80. This is basically the same type of controller as an MC60, except for it has ports right here instead of little spade lug connectors, alright? But it still requires a choke, just like the older boards do. It still requires a choke, and it requires a signal from a power board. Now, there are a lot of creative things you guys can do with this. That's not me. I'm going to suggest somebody for you to go to learn kind of what to do with these boards. But anyway, that's the first generation. All right. Then as time went on, they made it a little smaller and they called it an MC60. The difference between an MC60 and MC80, this doesn't require the choke in it. It actually is worked externally some other way. And it really has spade lug connectors for your SER type controllers. So I have a couple of these, not too many really, but I'm going to put them on Facebook. I'm going to sell them really dirt cheap because I really don't want to sell these as treadmill parts, because usually if it's a treadmill that's 15 or 20 years old, then really there's more to it than just the controller gone bad. Usually the walk belts overheated the system. So if you use it for a treadmill, okay, that's good. Hopefully it'll work out for you. But this is really designed more for do-it-yourself garage repairs. You'll see I'm going to recommend going to a site called Days Cars, and he actually does a lot of little nifty things with it, really. All right, so this is the MC70. This was basically the same generation as the MC60, but this was a lot more heavy duty. They usually put this on their Nordictrack, APAC 4100s and 4400s. Sometimes you would see it on their upper end Reebok machines, and that typically went with a bigger power supply. The power supplies usually operate the incline. And these motor controls really are simply DC motor controls. You can operate it separately because it has the 3 spade lugs right here that you can hook up a SER controller for it. All right. Last thing I want to show you, well, I actually got a couple more. So this is an older Nordictrack incline trainer. They used to call this a Nordictrack hiker back in the day. I believe this was a Bmw controller. I only have one of these, so we'll see what I put it up for on Facebook. When I say discounted, I'm talking 50, 60 bucks. So I'm just really trying to find some way to utilize this stuff without it going to waste, all right? So these are just different types of MC60, and I want to point that out to you. So this is actually considered an MC68, but it's really the same thing. Connect the motor, connect AC, connect the SCR switch, all right? So the next thing I want to show you is that usually these smaller controllers went with a smaller power supply. For some reason, or as the years have gone by, I have lots of these power supplies, but they don't really do anything except for operate the AC incline motor. So I'm not really sure what the value of them is. If you want to buy them in conjunction with each other, you can. For a lot of you guys that do things yourself, it might come in real handy for you. All right, so this is also, we're talking a lot about buying controllers for SCR, which is basically just a rheostat, and that's kind of what this is, a potentiometer. So I'm going to sell the whole console, and I probably have 6 of these, and you'll see right here it's a slightly different model. I'll let you see the back of it. You can even see the part number maybe. This will also give you a switch that work your incline on. So if you're trying to get an older treadmill going, this is probably a good choice for you. Again, I'm going to be selling these things for 40, 50 bucks. I'm just trying to get rid of them really in some ways. There's just no need to have them. They don't use them anymore in treadmills. But the switches and stuff could come in handy for some of you guys. I also have a this setup done complete with an MC60 that I'm going to be able to power these things up. I'm going to show you that, but that's really for a video for another. Here's one last one, and then we're going to go into the newer models. This was the MC1200, I believe. Yes, MC1200, which was in between. It's when they first started going to the 2100s and the LTS 30s. So this was probably in 2008, 2010, somewhere around there. This also requires a choke, and it also requires, can work your incline. So it does a little more that you don't need to. This is their first combo board, I guess is the best way to look at that. All right, but you would need to know specifically what model this fits with, and it just says MC2100. Version 2.4. That's going to be on my Facebook also. Alright, so that's all I really have for this. I'm going to hesitate for 1 second, and I'm going to switch over and kind of show the newer stuff, and I'll be with you in a second. Thanks a lot. Alright guys, so from here we're going to look at 2010 through 2019, 20 maybe. These controls will probably go from 2008 to 2014 maybe. And this is the control that you see a lot. It is the MC2100. There's a lot of different versions on this. Version B, WAM. Really, they're the same thing. The main difference on this is this one does, if you're going to use it for a treadmill, or you might need a transformer anyway, this one requires a treadmill. Transformer. This one, oh, sorry. This one requires a transformer also. Both of these are 2100s, just different versions of it. But to power it up, you will need a transformer on it. And again, these kind of started petering out. Really guessing 2012, something like that. They switched over. I also have a lot of PMW control boards. This actually is from a Gold's Gym Westlow treadmill. I probably have 6 or 7 of these. Again, all this stuff is going to be heavily marked down. Not quite sure how much yet on the consoles. You're probably looking at 40 or 50 bucks also. I just kind of want to get out of that because they're not used on treadmills anymore. Same theory, if you have an older treadmill and you're using this, there's probably other stuff gone really on it. The walk belt usually is kind of what I'm thinking of with that. But that's really the main thing. So on the step up from these MC2100s, they used the same connections. All right, so that hasn't switched yet. This controller will go from 2015 to 2000. I want to say 21, but maybe not. Maybe only till 20. Again, it has the same type connectors. Both of these are PMW controllers. This doesn't need a transformer anymore. As you can see, they've eliminated. They've got their own transformer built right onto the circuit board right there. And basically, this is an upgraded version of that because it has a bigger transformer. An LTS 30 just means it has a 30 watt transformer. An LTS 50 is a 50 watt. It just has more power for treadmills that have the newer touchscreen consoles and a little more fancier gizmos. But you do not need a transformer for either one of these. And these are still currently in production for right now. So you can actually buy these on my website, Fitness Parts Pro, at the actual website. The reason why I don't have this other stuff on the website is just easier to take it off and not really expose it too much. I just want to do it on Facebook and kind of really discount it as much as I possibly can. All right, so now this controller here started, I'm going to guess 2021, and it would be the same controller, but they've completely switched the type of wire connections you have. So this is really a double layer, if you can see it. The functions are the same, but you have to buy a new wire harness, which means you have to have a newer console because you need a newer wire harness to hook the console. So I'm pretty safe that this is currently what's in production for sure. I'm just not sure if it started in 20 or 21. But again, this is something not even on my website yet because it's so new. I haven't really sold a lot. These are kind of under warranty yet, all right? So, and then last on this, I just want to say this is the newer version currently on the website for the incline. I can't remember, XT 3200, XTI 31. All the incline trainers basically use the same control board. Same thing, but it's just more heavy duty and it takes more heat basically. All right, so I'm going to put these up on my website. No, I'm sorry, I'm going to put these up on my Facebook. Some of these are already up on my website, the ones that are current edition. I got transformers. I don't really have any chokes left for the older ones down there. You can work it without a choke. I'm going to do a video on that very shortly on what it sounds like and what it does without a choke. A choke really smooths it out a lot. It kind of settles the DC voltage going to the motor. But that's really all I got for you guys today. I'm going to show you my little board setup that I made so that I can test some of these. And I will see you then. Thanks a lot. Oh, please subscribe and thanks for viewing.